Bloody Mary Podcast.
Welcome to the Bloody Mary Podcast, where we talk about all things horror while drinking a Bloody Mary. I'm Jesse.
And I'm Tami. And we are totally married. Ooh. We got our Bloody Marys, and tonight we are reviewing Terrifier 3.
Yep, Terrifier 3. This is better late than never for this review. We tried to see it a few times in the theater.
Cock blocked every time.
Yep, you went on vacation. We had other stuff happen. You bruised your eyeball. There's
I had a bloody eyeball last week.
So we've been trying to see this movie like ever since it came out, and we finally got to see it. So late review, but hey, we got to see it while it was in theaters.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm surprised that Terrifier 3 has been in theaters for like 3-4 weeks now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it's made a fuck ton of money.
Yeah, so we'll be spoiler free, and then we'll get into spoilers, and we'll let you know when we get into those spoilers. But before we start talking about it, we got merch and an Amazon wish list.
Yeah, we do.
Yep.
We got big things, small things.
Yep, big things and small things. And you can find those big things and small things at www.bloodymarypodcast.com. Bloody Mary mixes, equipment, small stuff, movies, big stuff, like multiple thousands of dollars, cameras, all that kind of stuff. If you buy us something, we'll do a shout out.
Yeah.
Any help is appreciated. If you can't financially, just, hit the thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, share.
Yeah.
All that kind of
jazz.
stuff. If you got a friend or family member that loves horror movies too, shoot our podcast their way.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's just jump right into it. We just got back from the theater.
We did.
Haven't talked about it with each other. So here we go. Terrifier 3.
Yes.
What are your overall thoughts in general? Is it great? Is it one of the best horror movies ever? Is it okay? Does it suck?
I had a lot of fun, and it
Yeah?
was a great movie for me to kick off my holiday season, because you know that Christmas is so not my favorite. So any kind of horror Christmas movie, I'm down for.
I love Christmas, and I also love Christmas horror films. What
did you think?
I enjoyed it. So just to preface this, you're a bigger fan of the Terrifier films than I am.
Yes.
I respect the Terrifier films for what they are. I think everybody involved does a great job.
Mm-hmm.
Just a lot of what they do isn't my cup of tea. I don't necessarily enjoy how far they take some of the gore. Some of that bothers me. I've seen the first one once, I've seen the second one once, and I've seen this one once, and I haven't really had the desire to go back and watch them again. So that's where I'm coming from. And all that being said, I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
I had a good time with it. It didn't stray too far from what the other ones have been. It gives you a Terrifier movie.
It does. Yes. Yeah. Yes, it does.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a little, it was still gory. But I feel like the second one had a couple more gorier moments where you were like
gory. It was all gory.
Well, it was all gory, but I mean, you in the second one, you like there was a couple moments where you couldn't even watch the screen. Was that the case on this one?
No. So what I noticed in this one, the third one, there's more comedy. The clown, he was more comedic.
Yeah,
and he played it. Almost half the comedy was like to the audience, which was interesting, which would be if it's in that world, it's to himself. I don't think that the gore in this you get a lot of, but it's not as torturous or head turning as it was in like the second one. It wasn't really in the first one.
No.
That's strange because there is a lot more, I think, gore in this one.
No, yeah, I agree.
But there's more playfulness around it.
Right.
Yeah.
I was just checking because, I mean, in the second one, you're like, I can't watch, I can't look. And so I didn't see you in the theater do that, so I was just curious.
If you haven't, so in the second one, we're going to do a little spoiler here for Terrifier 2. There's a scene where he's really torturing this lady in a bedroom when she's still alive, and it goes on forever. He's pouring bleach on her. And in this one, you don't get any of that elongated, like, horrible torture. You get a little bit, but he kind of like kills them pretty quick.
Yeah.
There was one that he left still alive. But it was done almost comedically.
Mm-hmm.
Moreover, in like the second one, it was done just brutally, and it bothered me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. So I think they're really good. They're trying to find their balance, or they're trying to find their sweet spot. Because the first one, we're just talking about the gore. It was you get cool kills, you get cool kills, you get cool kills. They're a little gory and messed up. And the second one, they went farther with how far can we push it.
Right.
And I think this one, they're like, well, let's push it, but let's also push the comedy and playfulness with it.
Yeah.
Which
I think probably was a good idea for it being like a Christmas setting.
I don't think that has anything to do with it.
No?
I mean, maybe, but I don't think so. I think that was just a choice no matter what setting they would have put it in. Yeah. I think the Christmas setting helps with playfulness, colors, Santa, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's what I think. It just like...
Yeah.
He's more playful because it's Christmas.
Yeah. So what did you think of the story overall? Was it what you were expecting? Were you surprised at anything with the story, where it went?
We got more lore a little bit, kind of.
I felt like we got more lore, and also they kind of tied in and like connected the tissues pretty well to the stuff they left open in 2.
In 2, yeah.
I almost like every single thing that they introduced in 2, I picked up on, even if it was just through like a line of dialogue.
Right, yeah.
Or like I understood now what was going on.
Right.
Without getting into spoilers. I understand what the clown is. What's his name again? Art. Yeah, okay. Art the clown. What was the name that they gave him at the bar? It was like, this is...
Clown guy, or...
No, it was like, because he gave him a fake ID, and it was like, you're Sebastian.
Marcus Jackson or something like that. And
which
he
is
was
really
like,
funny.
Marcus Jackson? Like, okay.
I understood the lore, and I understand what Art is now, and I understand why he exists.
Right.
And I also understand what Sienna is, and I understand why she is there.
Right.
There is maybe a few things that's left up in the air, but I get it now. I get it.
So we get it's not necessarily even more lore. It just kind of ties it all in a bow.
I don't think there's any more lore.
No, I'm saying, like in 2, we had questions of the lore, and we're like, what? And so now the lore is wrapped up in a bit of a bow.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, cool. What did you think of the characters? What did you think of the lead, the final girl, Sienna? Did you like
I think
her?
she was really good because she played... I think she did better in this one than she did the second one. Not that she wasn't bad. She was good in the second one too, but I think that this one, like, she's been in the character, already once. And then also just the dealing with that trauma of having that happen and getting out, and how she tries to navigate that.
It's like navigating final girl survival trauma. It's like what Rob Zombie did with his Laurie Strode in Halloween 2. David Gordon Green tried touching on it in his Halloweens. So I like that they went into like what it's like for her to actually be traumatized from that event, and she was institutionalized for a while.
Yeah. And also how they bring in the kind of the scream thing where they're like, in like a podcast or a radio or whatever, where they're like, but she probably did it instead. Like, there was no body, there was no this, she probably did it.
Yeah.
And how people are like, oh no, she's a survivor, she probably killed everyone.
Yeah, I like in this one how like the world more knows that Art the Clown is out there. I think they did in 2 because in 2 the brother wanted to dress up as Art the Clown for Halloween.
Right.
So it was known, but it's even more known now where there's a podcast about where they talk about it. So you could assume then that this is all over the nation, and like any other serial killer. Right.
Well, on the bus or the subway or something, there was a guy dressed as Art the Clown.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, you're way better than me, man. You're looking cool.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah.
What did you think of how it ended? Did you like the ending?
I guess I don't know. I guess I kind of wanted a little more. I mean, now I wanted a little more than what we got.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think one had a pretty good ending.
One had a great ending.
And I think both 2 and 3 have open-ended endings.
Yes.
By design, I mean, I don't necessarily know. Yeah, it's an open-ended ending.
Oh yeah, for sure. There was no wrapping it up there.
Yep.
It's an open-ended ending, which is great because that means we're going to get another Terrifier, which we probably absolutely will, considering this one made a fuck ton of money.
Yeah, it made a lot of money in the theater. And like, I mean, just a little off topic, but going on to like, there's been this whole thing too, how Joker 2 was a flop and it cost a shit ton of money.
Right.
And this didn't cost a lot. This is a low budget horror film. I think it's made anywhere between $2 to $4 million probably.
Right.
And it has made back so much money. It even like dethroned Joker in the theater, and it was like the #1 film in theaters for at least a week, I think, or that weekend. It like killed. And the fact that it's still in theaters, and I think our theater was half full.
Yeah, which is great.
So what is that? I mean, and even the other films that are out there, why are people seeing this one?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I think the state of the world is kind of crazy right now. The state of our country with the election and politics, and people want something. And horror has a place where people go to find comfort.
Yeah.
Surprisingly. I mean, I find comfort in it. And I know people are like, what? But people do find comfort in that.
You almost feel like you're part of a cool club and you're supporting like your cool club. And, and like it's making money, so you want to go out and support it too. Yeah.
And so I think that's part of it. Because I think that pendulum swings. We got that, we had our superhero moment, and now we're swinging back to different things. And I think horror might take a bigger spotlight in that.
Yeah. Without getting into spoilers, was there anything in this film that didn't work for you, or that you could have done without? It was a little long. It wasn't as long as the second one. The second one was like 2.5. This one was just over 2 hours. And I still think you could shave 10, 15 minutes out of it.
Yeah, I agree. It's a little long. No, I mean, for a Terrifier movie, I enjoyed all of it.
Yeah.
And I really did enjoy the Christmas of it all.
Yeah, no, it was a fun setting.
Happy.
It was a fun setting to play with, for sure.
And the soundtrack and their little Christmas song about Art the Clown at the end. That's fun.
Yeah, I think
that's just fun.
think that might have played 2 or 3 times. I can't remember.
It did, yeah.
Yeah. It was good. Yeah.
What about you? Was there something that you could have done without?
I'd have to think about it more, but no, I don't think so. Maybe a little less dialogue with family members. You could have dialed that back a little bit. Yeah, no, not really. The one thing that's really interesting, and I find this just in our culture in general, is that there was no nudity in this. There were no boobs.
There was no.
There's implied, but there's like gore.
There is a dick.
There's like so much like gore and kills. There wasn't even a dick. You got to see like mangled balls. Spoiler.
There was a floppy dick in there. I saw it. Don't worry.
I was looking pretty hard for dick.
I saw it.
All right.
It was there.
Well, okay.
Anyways,
to be determined.
But you're right. Like there's no.
So you had boobs in the first one.
Yes.
And I don't think you did in the second, did we? I don't remember.
I don't remember boobs in the second one.
But I could have used some boobs. I could have used some more dick. Right.
We got man butt.
We did. We did. But like there was a moment where you really could have shown the dick in all its glory, and it could have been like it wouldn't, like, if it was there, I didn't see it.
Right.
Like there's a scene that we know of where you could have seen
there.
Quite a bit of dick.
That's very true. It was there. It just bloody and.
But I feel like that scene, I wanted boobs to be part of the equation too, and it kind of goes along with the culture of I see this in a lot of horror films or films in general where it's okay. Violence is okay of any kind. You can scalps, you could do whatever you want to someone's body, dismember them, cut them up, hack them up. But if you show a tit, suddenly it's weird. It's offensive. You're having a sex scene and you show boobs. Oh, like what is that? Like I in horror movies, I want to see some boobs too. I want to see some kills.
Right.
Like that's like a fun package of
Right.
like the horror that I enjoy. Right? You go to Return of the Living Dead. You get it all.
Trash it.
You get boobs in there. You get gore in there. You get comedy in there. You get fun cast members. You get dialogue. So my only complaint is I could have used a titty or two.
Right.
Yeah, that's really about it, I think. So I don't know. Is there anything else you want to talk about it before we rate it and then get into
I
some
think we
spoilers?
should rate it.
What would you rate it out of 10 Bloody Marys?
I'm gonna say 7.5.
7.5.
Mhm.
Okay. I'll go with a 6.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still a good movie. I think like if this was really my jam,
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably say, oh man, this is an 8.
Yeah.
I respect it. It's not a bad movie at all. It's great. It's just it's not for me. I probably won't watch it again.
Right.
6.5.
7.5. It's
But-
a fun Terrifier movie.
Yeah.
It's a fun Christmas movie for me.
Yes.
And it's not like, oh my God, this is such a great horror film.
Yeah.
But it is like, I like it.
But this is a not for me movie that I completely respect.
Yeah.
Like it's not like Midsummer where like
Fucking hated that movie.
it's not for me and I don't respect it. Those are different.
It's very different. Yes.
So how would you rank it in the Terrifier trilogy we have now? 1, 2, and 3. What's your
1,
ranking?
3, and 2.
1, 3, and 2?
Yes. I love 1 a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched that a couple times. I watched it the other day after we watched a horrible movie that was Hallmark horror
Yeah.
with no blood and kill. Like you didn't see anything, so I needed to balance that out. So
Yeah.
I chose Terrifier because that made me feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like it's just a lot of fun, and he was so much fun. And this one, it does bring the comedy, and he's having a blast, and it brings the gore that I love, but not too over the top.
Mm-hmm.
And it does wrap up the lore,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And so in 2, you were a little like, what is happening?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I would rank mine.
Cool.
What about you?
That's hard. Because it's like there's like 2 deciding factors.
Mhm.
Like, do I? Okay, I'll tell you my least favorite one now is 2.
Yeah.
Because of the kind of the same things you said, where so much is left open. They bring up so many questions that aren't answered.
Mhm.
And 2 is great. There's so much stuff I love about 2. I like how she becomes badass. I like how he
yeah.
has a rival.
Yeah.
That was really awesome in 2. There's that scene in there that just goes too far with the gore with me. So now it's like, do I put 3 or 1 as my number 1?
Mm-hmm.
And it's really God. Right now, I'm gonna go 3, 1, 2
Okay.
because
Why is that?
I like how he's dialed it in. I like how he dialed the comedy in more with like the kills. It's getting like over here is like where I am with like how I like my gore, and he's like over here sometimes, but he turned that dial like a little closer to like how I can enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And like 1 had boobs
It
and
did,
that
yeah.
really cool like cut in half kill.
That was the best.
So it was like, do you like boobs or like the comedy better?
Right.
I do like that he's dialing it in, leaning more into the comedy one. I don't know if he's gonna keep with that, but
Right.
I enjoyed that. I do like how they tie up those loose ends. Like, okay, now I understand your world. Because 1, you're like, oh, okay, this is what he is. And then 2, you're like, oh, what the fuck's going on? And 3 is like, okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
Now I get what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, 3, 1, 2. And maybe that'll change, but I don't know. I like, yeah. That's my ranking.
All right.
Cool. So this third one is my favorite so far. And I love Christmas.
This is true. Yes.
Yeah. So, and that was really cool to have some Christmas spirit. So yeah, let's get into spoilers.
All right. Spoilers, people. Spoilers. So If you haven't seen it and you don't want to know, stop right now.
Yeah, I don't know if this is so much of a spoiler. We could have probably talked about this earlier, but I liked one of the things I really liked about this was all the cameos from people. There was so many. There was the big one, the bigger name was Jason Patrick.
Yeah,
he played the dad in the flashbacks, and that was really cool. I mean, it did, like, he was just sitting in a chair for 2 scenes, so it didn't take much to get him in for a cameo. I'm assuming it was a day of shooting. Tom Savini was there. You had not Ron Howard, his brother. What
Clint
the fuck?
Howard.
Clint Howard. Yeah.
You had Daniel Roebuck, who was in Roebuck. Is that who he's there?
Yeah, yeah, he's like in the recently the Rob Zombie. He's been in a couple of his stuff.
Yeah. I mean, he's been in things forever, though.
There's a comedian and podcaster lady who had a cameo in there, and I can't remember her name. Blonde. Yeah, she was in there. Was the scary movie guy in there? Was that him?
Maybe.
John Abrams.
Yes.
Then he was in there.
Yes.
So John Abrams was the star of Scary Movie, and we just recently saw him at the Halloween Expo. Yes. But he had a role in there.
He did. Yes.
Yeah. So that was him. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of cool cameos in this one, which lightened it up for me.
Yeah.
It did. It did lighten it up having these cameos in there.
The uncle, he's done a lot of television things that I've watched throughout the years.
I didn't recognize the core cast aside from the leads.
Yeah, no, him. I was like, oh my god, hey, I know you. He was on so many things.
Yeah,
yeah. So that was really fun to see because Terrifier generally was just an independent, and you didn't get a lot of big names.
Yeah.
To go in that, so just to see some really fun cameos.
Yeah.
And then also we had Chris Jericho came back.
Oh yeah.
Got murdered.
Yeah, all the cameos, for some reason, it lightened the mood for me, especially the bar scene.
The bar scene was fun.
It was a lot of fun, and when he used the cryo, when he was freezing, that's what I'm talking about. To where he was still alive, right? But it didn't seem as torturous because he got it all done quick, right?
Yeah,
he and broke his leg and his hand. It was kind of funny,
yeah,
and because he played it humorous, the guy has comedic chops, the guy who was getting tortured.
Oh, yeah.
And so he did his face, he ripped off his face. It was just more comedic than anything. It wasn't as torturous as part 2.
No.
Or mean-spirited. I found part 2 to be mean-spirited in their gore. This one didn't feel mean-spirited.
Can we talk about the very first kill that was not seen on screen, but the very first kill of this movie was a kid?
Yeah, I like that too. I love when they kill kids in movies. They
kill a couple kids in this movie.
But how they get away with it is they're all off screen.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're all off screen, and you never you don't see it. You see the aftermath of it.
Yeah.
But you don't see it happening. But they start the movie off as him dressed as Santa killing a kid.
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome.
So what the director is saying there and solidifying is that unlike some characters like Jason Voorhees, maybe a touch of Freddy, there is absolutely no redeeming qualities. There's nothing you can relate to. There is no remorse to Art the Clown.
No.
He has no, Jason won't kill kids.
Right.
Freddy will I think he paused with when in 6 when he was having to fight his daughter.
Right.
Kind of thing. He is saying he is a bad guy. Nothing is redeeming from this person.
Exactly.
So that was cool to get kind of you got that from the other stuff too, but it was final.
But this was final
when he killed kids.
He don't kill kids.
Yeah.
He went to the mall. He pretended to be Santa. He handed out gifts to fucking kids, and then and then the one kid's like, "What's this?" And it was a bomb, and he killed all the.
I halfway called that in my head. I thought each toy was going to be its own bomb, and I thought the kid was going to unwrap the detonator and you'd see each kid pop, boo, 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 which that would have been too much. So the fact that you just saw the explosion, you didn't see any kids get killed, but you saw a couple of bodies after the fact.
Right.
Which is how he got away with not killing some kids.
Right. And I do like how, when she gets back, they set up that she sees her dead friend, the one that got tortured.
Yeah.
And she sees these things, so when she sees him at the mall, she thinks for a second, I'm just seeing something.
It could be something that I'm seeing.
I'm just seeing
And they
something.
did that with the audience too. Like maybe it is.
Maybe it is. Nope, it was actually him. He's there excited.
I was really happy that they explained the lore. So really what it is so correct me if I'm wrong. In the first one, he was a human and he was a serial killer until the demon decided to take over his body because the demon wants to take over. They even said it in this one, why not take over a serial killer?
Yes.
So I believe he was human until, and then the demon came and that demon girl in 2 was in control of Art.
Yes.
They really solidified that in 3 with now that demon is inside of his first victim, and that's the whatever demon's vessel. And Art is a puppet.
Yes.
Like he's just a vessel as well, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So in this one, it seemed like, especially in that like third act when they're in the house and they have everyone tied up, that she was pulling the strings.
Oh yeah, she was.
And
running
Art
the
was
show.
like her muscle.
Yeah. And at some point, he was like, he'd get annoyed with her. Like, he'd look at her and be like, ugh. And he couldn't do anything. Because I was like, why don't you do anything about it?
Yeah.
In my head, I was thinking that. But he can't because that's his master, basically.
Yeah. So I was really glad that we got that and that they explained that there is a counterbalance in the world. If there's this evil, no matter what it is, if there's this demon on Earth, then there's the balance, which is Sienna. And she is the light and the good. And I really do like that there is what he did in this one, and I think in 2, but there's hope, right?
Yeah.
Through all this madness and chaos. And he went more religious in this too, especially with the crown of thorns.
Thorns, the Mary Magdalene figure.
Yeah.
In her dream.
And her hands, you could have said that was what's it when he got the nails in his hands, Jesus.
I don't remember what.
But she had the crown of thorns.
She got the nails.
And she had her hands. And then she, defeated evil and she got those cuts on her hands. Well, her hands were healed. And I'm assuming that healing came from the power of God.
Yeah.
So she is an angel. She is an angel on earth fighting.
Or she has that power anyways. Yeah.
Well, her dad also, that's the one thing they didn't quite like connect as to why the dad could foresee these things.
They just said he had mental health issues.
Because he foretold that his daughter was going to be this in the drawing that he gave her. And then when he handed her that drawing, he saw what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Which kind of leads you to believe that he's seen these things before because he drew Art the Clown.
He drew Art the Clown. Yeah. So I think what it is he saw visions and he was like probably a prophet if we're going with
religious.
If we're going with a religious theme, which it looks like we are in that aspect, then he's probably a prophet and that his daughter was the one that was chosen to be activated when needed. Yeah.
And also too, it's just a fun blanket and gimmick to do it on Christmas, but that is a religious holiday. And the fact that, these demons are making fun of it and using it, the giving of gifts. And then, it was, so it was more religious in this one. But I like that they had more hope at the end.
Right. Well, except for the girl. No, she's like the little Gabby girl.
The only now, like family relative that's alive
that she has left is now in hell.
I maybe, yeah, I think so. Because the director, I read something that in part 4 he's gonna go weird with it. My prediction for part 4 is that she's gonna go into hell to try and find her niece.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or is it her sister?
Cousin. Is her cousin technically because her she was with her aunt and uncle, her mom's sister.
Gotcha.
So it's her cousin.
Okay, yeah. I think she's going to go into hell and find her.
Yeah.
And one thing that was a reveal, that was kind of cool, was that was her brother's skull that they said.
They said it was...
You don't see him get killed.
You don't, which...
In movie lore, if you don't see it, if it happens off screen... It could still not have happened.
Right.
And they could have still been fucking with her.
Yes. So, because she was trying to get her as a vessel. She wanted her as the vessel, and the only way she could overtake her is if she got rid of everything that she loved. So she thought.
Yeah. Yeah, but they killed so many people that could have been someone else's skull too.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so favorite kill.
Favorite kill. Ooh, you're gonna make me go through them all. Going through the beginning. How about yours? And I'll think about mine if you have one.
Okay. I really liked the a couple. I liked the one where they found the demo people were coming, and he found him in the attic, and then he used the X-Acto knife to cut his skull and then rip his skin off.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
I liked that one.
But it was also kind of funny. Like because he got an effects team with this now.
Mm-hmm.
And they made it a little bit more funny. So it wasn't like it's brutal, but it was still like the limbs looked a bit faker. The body parts looked a little bit faker. Kind of, it just helped with it for me.
Yeah, it just like I really like he just peeled his like.
It was cool.
It was really cool.
Yeah,
and I'm not gonna lie, I did like the shower scene and the chainsaw because we got the girl that was cut in half from pussy to head,
and now we finally got the guy.
Butt first.
Yeah.
Butt first.
And then was he turned around?
Yeah, he chainsawed him in the butt first.
Yeah.
Up, and then he flipped him over, and then we saw the mangled balls, and there was a floppy dick in there, but you had to real pay attention.
Yeah, I saw the balls. I didn't see the dick.
And then slice him up. So
yeah.
Equal opportunity.
But there was an opportunity there to like show like full dong and the blade like destroying the dick,
which I thought was gonna happen.
That would have been cool. And then that's the scene too where I wanted to see her like scream with her tits out at least, and then him like saw the tits.
Right.
Like that.
He did saw her tits. You just didn't. Really, you didn't get to see pre-sawed off tits.
Yeah, which I mean, come on, you want to connect the dots.
And that's the girl who did the podcast. And then when she found out, like, she was such a fangirl. And she's like, oh my God, like, I want you to talk. And then, what's it like? And she's like, what's it fucking like? I see my dead friends everywhere.
Yeah.
Everyone I love is fucking dead. I've been in a mental institution on and off for 5 years. How the fuck do you think I am? I'm like, and then she's like, I mean, it's been 5 years. I just want to know what it's like. I love that he was outside listening to her talk to her boyfriend going, I just want to know what it's like to look in his eyes and be that close to evil. Yeah. Like, what are you feeling? And then he's out there like all excited. It was funny.
Yeah, you knew that was coming.
Oh, you absolutely knew.
But that's an example of when he was at the door doing all those mannerisms. Like he was doing them for himself because he wasn't performing for anyone, or he was just doing it for us, the audience. Yeah. Favorite kill? Oh God, I'm trying to think because they do kind of blend together a little bit. I mean, I'm gonna say Daniel Roebuck's Santa one was cool because he used the thing that he was building, his
liquid nitrogen,
and then he nitrogened his leg and hit it, and his arm and hit it, and his face and hit it, and then he like ripped off part of his face, and then he took the snowman's
nose
carrot and like stuck it in his nose, and he was still alive. So who knows? Maybe Daniel Roebuck comes back as the next demon,
survivor.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, that's the one. Which one got the axe to the head? Oh, the mom at the beginning. That one was cool too. Yeah,
the mom in the beginning where she's like trying to run for the door.
And it was pretty simple. Like she got like axed in, I know, the stomach, maybe somewhere else, and then she just got the back of the head. But I'm gonna say Daniel Roebuck's is my favorite kill, even though he's technically not dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was fun. It definitely wasn't. It didn't make me turn my head like the second one. Or even maybe part of the first one. Yeah, I really liked. I liked the final girl. I like how she got her shit wrecked.
Oh, she totally got her shit wrecked, but she fought back.
That
hard.
Final fight sequence is pretty kick-ass.
That was
choreographed. There were stunts. There was throwing around. It was sword versus chainsaw, which was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. She's a great final girl. I really do enjoy her as a final girl. I think she does great.
I think she landed a bigger role in something now because of this. But yeah, I don't know. Anything else you want to talk about with spoilers? Like You know, they did wrap up all the lore. We talked about that.
Mm-hmm. So if the witch is dead, because she killed the witch.
So the ending, the witch, she cut off the witch's head with the magical sword, and she melted away.
And then opened a portal to hell.
Which you assume the demon went into.
Mm-hmm.
And then her cousin was hanging like, help me. So she had the choice because she had Art pinned against the wall, and he was about to die because you could see his eyes returning milky.
Right.
Like I think he was about to die. And so she was like, help or this. And she helped her.
And then he escaped.
And then she fell into hell and he escaped.
And he just sits on the bus and he's just like,
yeah, what's with people letting that guy onto things?
He's
like
covered
I
in
wouldn't let him on.
He's covered in blood and he looks creepy as shit.
So it was an open-ended ending for sure.
Absolutely was.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing that I do like about like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, kind of no matter what happens, you kill your bad guy.
Right.
Even though you'll probably know they'll come back.
It wraps up.
Yeah.
And then they find creative ways to bring them back in the next one.
Yeah. So it would have been cool to, see her kill him.
Right.
And then get like a final tease that, oh, he's back.
Right.
Or he's not dead or something. But hey, it keeps it open. So making a 4th.
Yeah, I know. That's exciting.
What do you think they're going to do with 4? Do you think she is? It's going to be like, all right, I'm like going to hell to find my cousin.
I think so. She's hoping that Gabby is alive.
Yeah. Well, so much shit has like happened now. Like the people saw Santa and it like killed a bunch of kids, and someone else was murdered in their house.
Right. So how did so my brain goes, so what happened? Like the cops are gonna come and they're gonna like what?
Are they gonna like blame her and arrest her? Or is she gonna have to leave? Is she going back to the insane asylum?
Right. Like what's gonna happen? Does she just bail and take off? I mean, they did take Polaroids of each other, so there is like if they show up in photos, like there's Polaroids all over the place.
Because 1 and 2. It was like the same timeline. 1, and then he woke up, and it went into 2.
Yeah.
And then there was a 5-year gap between 2 and 3.
Yeah. And people know about Art the Clown and him murdering people.
Here's a question. So the first scene we saw when he was going around killing that family, when did that actually happen? Did that happen after he fought Sienna? After our final ending? Because the one chick wasn't there. So did he do that after he fought with Sienna? Like when in the timeline did he kill that family?
I think he killed that family after he left the bar and got the Santa suit, but between the mall and getting the suit.
Huh.
That's what I think.
All right.
I think that he got the suit.
Yeah.
Because the suit, he was in the suit and it wasn't that bloody. And so I think he went, got the suit, killed the family, next day went to the mall. That's what I think.
All right. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, Terrifier 3.
Yes, go see it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, if you don't do gore, then it's a lot. But the comedy this time does help it a lot.
Yeah.
I think.
Have you seen Terrifier 3? What did you think of it? And how do you rank them? Which one's your favorite?
Yeah, let us know. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.
Yeah. One last thing. I want to see this director do something that isn't a Terrifier film.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see him do something different.
Yeah.
A whole new thing. Like what I want to see is him not do 4, to do another movie unrelated and then do 4. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
But anyways.
All right. Well, our Bloody Marys are dead.
So are we.
So are we. Bye-bye.
See ya.